before school or not during school, you know.
So do you guys never, because I've done stories on Chandler schools with their SROs, have you guys never seen this officer?
I don't know the officers by name. I haven't even talked to any of the officers. I've never gotten in trouble. The only officer I know is the one who's over there, and all I say to him is, he goes, "You can cross the street." I go, "Okay, thank you. Have a good day." That's all I talk to them.
So would it be, well, let's say it wasn't a security officer, what if it was a math teacher that you didn't know, and they asked you for your name, but you don't know them?
Well, if you don't know them, who knows if that's how you know that's an actual teacher, right? How you know that's not a parent who's offended by what you're doing? You know, you don't know for sure. And if they show your school ID, okay, but what power do you have over them? They're not your student, are they? No. If it was, you know, Mr. Serrano out there saying, "Hey guys, I don't like you taking pictures with, you know, these pro-Trump shirts," the kids probably would have been a lot, you know, easier to release their names to them and be like, okay, because they know that person. But they don't know the security guards. They don't know a random math teacher, you know. And the kids, honestly, at this school, you know, the more right-leaning kids don't feel safe, and that's because of a lot of, you know, reasons. Like last year, we had it was supposed to be a assembly, or well, I guess like a gathering of all the kids, you know, in remembrance of school shootings, because, you know, that's a really big issue, right? And that's, you know, those are tragedies. And so, you know, kids, we showed up to that protest. It was right over there, or rally, I guess. And, you know, the people started off, you know, the conversation pretty well, and then they started, you know, just expressing their political beliefs, and kids were having signs that said, you know, ban guns, you know, guns kill people and stuff like that. And I showed up there with a sign that said, you know, guns don't kill people, people kill people. And about like 10 other kids had signs that said that. And we got cursed out, we got yelled at, we got shoved, you know, we got hit. And nothing was done there. You know, nothing was said. A teacher walked up to me, and I was standing there with my sign, and all these other kids had signs. And a teacher walked up to me and goes, "Hey, kid, I need you to put that sign down." And he goes, "It's disruptive. It's causing a scene." I was like, "How's it causing a scene? I'm expressing my beliefs." And he goes, "Okay, I'm just trying to, you know, warn you."
So let me
I was
ask
like,
you
"Okay."
this. Do all the staff, do they wear name badges?
Some of them, but the teachers don't. I don't think they're required to. I don't see them. Usually they carry it on them to get into the buildings, but I don't know anything further than that.
What do you think about all this support for these? There's only one student that was suspended. What do you think of the support that they're getting?
Well, it's not just for the student. It's for, you know, freedom of speech, and for, you know, a society where you can talk more about your, you know, political beliefs, and talk about, you know, your support for a president, right? Because this is, you know, politics aside, we're just supporting our president. And if you can't allow us to support our president, you know, because you don't support him, that's imposing on our beliefs, right? And so that's why I believe, that's why I came out here. You know, I showed up and they're like, you know, "Hey, we're having this protest for stuff that happened." I was like, this is a good opportunity to walk out here and show my support for a guy I believe is doing his job.
Thank you, man. Thanks for explaining it.
Thank
Just trying to figure out if what the teachers and the whole ID thing.
Oh yeah, we didn't really. Yeah, I wasn't there, so I couldn't tell you. You know, talk to the kids, you know, stuff like that.
Thanks, guy. Appreciate it. So we're gonna talk to Kelly and get out of here.
real quick? Yeah. You have time?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna do it Facebook.
Oh, okay. I'll be real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
QT.
He was the parent of a student that witnessed it, and has a lot to say.
I'm doing good.
I'd rather you interview him.
Well, we'll interview both of them. We'll
All
talk
right.
to you and then him. You're an elected person. We gotta hear. We gotta have you.
Am I? All right.
Okay, we already know, but your first and last name
Kelly Townsend,
and your title.
State Representative District 16.
What brings you out here today?
So I've been following this and I've been seeing the reasons given by this principal, which don't match up with the video. He's saying that there's something about flag etiquette here at the school, and I've had kids give me better excuses than that, because when you watch the video, it clearly states they were asked to leave the campus because they had a flag and it was improper use of the flag. And he has a kid in the Army and she should read the etiquette, she should know, and that's why these kids were asked to leave. That is the video evidence. We're seeing something completely different in the email that went out. And frankly, the things that have happened to these kids are very concerning. It's not inclusive. I want to know what's happened to the teachers that come every Wednesday in political gear, and I want these kids treated equally, and I don't want them retaliated against, and I don't want the parents retaliated against. So I'm here to defend them and speak for them, and to tell this school, I've had enough of this, parents have had enough of this, and obviously the kids that are here have had enough of this.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You bet.
All right, Marco. Your first and last name.
Marco Trikovic.
And spell your last name.
Last name T as in Tom, R-I-C-K-O, V as in Victor, I-C.
And so, what brings you out here?
I'm out here today just to support all these people and support these kids. I had my run-in with this school. My son went to this school last year. I actually pulled him from the school, had to put him in a charter school just because I found my son actually being indoctrinated in cultural Marxism. It was on a teacher's website here. Came home, discovered him writing a project that led him down some pretty weird paths, especially for a 10th grade kid. He ended up writing a paper for his 10th grade English project. It was a group of boys that were doing it, so it was all boys that were picked. The project was actually on transgenderism, and the reason why is because the teacher had been teaching them how to utilize critical theory in assessing these things, and the book that they were actually writing the report on was Ender's Game, and I'm not sure what transgenderism has to do with Ender's Game to begin with. So it just kind of stemmed from there. I went to the school, I met with the principal, with some other parents that actually reached out to me that were kind of concerned about the same project, and we fought this with the school. We went to the district, we went to the head of curriculum for Chandler Unified School District, and it never went anywhere. And at that point I decided to pull my son out of the school and had to put him in a charter school.
So what do you think about all this?
What I think about this, and the reason I'm here, is because when I saw the way that these kids were treated by the principal, it's absolutely unacceptable. And I know that his statement publicly, where he said that he was worried about, possible fights breaking out and things like that, and was a safety issue, that's not true, and I'm going to tell you why. Last year, he allowed students to walk off of this campus in support, actually, against our Second Amendment with the March for Our Lives thing, okay? That was during school hours. He allowed them to march off. He said it was their First Amendment right to do so. Well, if these kids showed up on USA Day supporting the President of the United States, and then they're thrown off a campus because they said it's either offensive or it was a safety concern, here's where the hypocrisy is. He's basically there saying, you guys can do whatever you want, but you guys can't. It's a double standard. Does that make sense?
In a way, but let me throw this at you. Everyone keeps saying these kids been thrown off of campus, but as I just talked to the mom whose kid was involved, they were here all day. They didn't get kicked out until they were asked to leave after the bell rang.
Okay. After school hours, correct? After school hours, that's right.
So they were here the whole day.
Great. And now explain to me why kids were allowed to walk off of campus during school hours
Well,
to protest against our Second Amendment rights.
I don't know anything about that, but
That's my question to you.
But the question that I have is, we're talking about kids being kicked out of school, and they were not. They were asked to go home after the bell rang. But from what the mom tells me, her daughter was in trouble because she wouldn't give her name.
She wouldn't. Why should she?
It's a school employee. If the school,
Don't say anything until I get
Absolutely.
there.
So her mother was protecting her child, and her child did exactly what her mom said she wanted her to do.
So is that not?
So who's the parent?
Well, but
Who's it? No, no, I got a question for you. I got a better question. Who's in charge?
well, you're
Is
in
it
their
the?
school, so you're in their house.
It's a public education
But it's
system.
their house.
It's their house?
their
No,
house.
it's the people's house,
No,
my
it's their
friend.
house. Well, they help pay for it, but it's their house. They have control.
We
And
help
so-
pay for it? No, no, no. We pay for it,
And so do they.
and they're
That's- but-
beholden to us,
but that
sir.
does- but that
That's how it
doesn't-
works in a constitutional republic.
Right, but you and I cannot go over there and just break laws, even though we feel like we can.
Break laws.
We can't go over there and do whatever we want.
But the school can break laws.
What law did they break?
When they allow their teachers to show up in political attire and things like that, that violates Arizona state statutes, my friend. And it
So-
happens all the time.
But what I'm trying to gather here is,
Mm-hmm.
is what I heard from the students is I'm just trying to map this together. Take all the MAGA stuff out of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to know why it's not okay for a student to give their name to a school official if that's what they ask. That's all. I don't care about anything else. That's what I'm trying to understand. Is that
You don't
not-
care about anything. You're worried about why they didn't give their
that-
name
if
up,
That's why they're being.
but we're not worried about the kid that was forced to do 1,000 up downs by his coach because he wouldn't remove his MAGA hat. Is
But
that correct?
no, we have to get to the. What I'm trying to figure out.
Because then we can
I
go
need
down the
to
lines
know-
of corporal punishment and
But
all
no,
sorts
no,
of
no.
things like that.
What I want to know is, I want to know why they were suspended. So what I'm asking is, you had a student here. Is it against the rules for a student not to give their name?
They were, sir, I'm going to tell you like
'Cause
this. They were suspended
that's
because of a
against the rules.
double standard.
Okay, let's
No,
put the.
no, it's not against the
Let me.
Let's put them in Obama gear because I don't care what side.
I
they're
don't
on.
either.
I don't care anything about that.
Absolutely.
If the school says that they were suspended because of their, I'm just trying to get an answer, representative here. If the school says that they were suspended because of their not giving their name, is that a violation of the rules?
I'd like to interject. The
I'd like to see the rules if that's the case.
Representative,
That's not why that's not why they were suspended.
You don't have to give your name.
They were suspended because the mother was ignorant and she wouldn't leave. She said, "Fine, she said for 10 days according to the mother."
Absolutely.
What student was this?
This was a student suspended for 10 days. Her mother said it was because she was in the office trying to get answers, and they said, "I'm sick of this. You're done. Get out. You're suspended 10 days."
Well, the mother over there gave me a different story.
That's what she told us.
Well, I think we're confusing mothers. One mother said the mother who was trespassed, her daughter wasn't even suspended.
No, it's a different mother.
It was a different
so-
one.
The other daughter.
But I mean, they could be wearing Bernie. They could be wearing.
Right. No.
it
So
doesn't
so
matter.
here's my point. This is my point. It is a double standard, though, right?
Okay.
Because I'm sure there was plenty of kids during Barack Obama's presidency that wore their Obama gear and no one said anything. I don't care about that. That's not the point. My point is this: I want to expose their hypocrisy. Okay? Because when you allow one group of kids to do one thing and deny the First Amendment right to the other group of kids, that's when I have a problem with it. That's when the American people should have a problem with it. And I'm sorry, my friend, that's not how it works in a constitutional republic.
All right. So if you had a student here, would you make them give their name?
If I had a student here, would I make them? I wouldn't make a kid do anything without talking to his parents first, because that's how it works. Those kids belong to their parents and not the state.
Thank you, Marco.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check, check. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check. Alrighty, check 1, 2, 3, 5. Check, check, check.
I say I walk right down the sidewalk next to him this time. Maybe they'll call me a nigger.
You've come pretty close.
Yeah. Oh, you should go back to school. Oh boy, that's an old one. I think you need to update your material.
First thing I decided to do when I got out of jail this morning was come down here.
Sending this back to all my boys back in county. See this?
Uber.
The only thing out here I support. What's going on, man? Doing all right?
Yeah.
That mom got trespassed. Her daughter was involved. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So you got trespassed and drive on suspended. And there's one kid obviously got suspended. What were they suspended for? Yeah, that's all. They said I asked them to be right on the paper. Pay those taxes. They didn't get kicked out.
While they're at red lights. I've never prayed for red lights.
According to them.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gary. Nice to meet you.
I didn't. Yeah, there's still a little bit of action going on outside of Perry High. You see protesters and rather supporters of these students who are outside of the schools. Everyone comes in for the day. So over the past hour we've been here and we have talked to some students. We also spoke with one of the mothers whose daughter was involved. In all of this, only one student was suspended. That was not her daughter. This mom happened to get a trespass warning, and if she ever comes back to the school again, they will charge her with trespassing. That mom has been very respectful to me out here this morning, but we did have a few folks who wanted to interrupt our interviews that we were doing, including our representative Kelly Townsend, who was out here. Nevertheless, this has been an overall large group of people who they say they are supporting the students. This group is not made up of any parents other than the one student that was out here. This is all folks from the community, supporters obviously of President Trump and that of the like. But getting lost in all of this political stuff is the students that were suspended and their punishment. That's still the question that we have to ask here. Why were these students suspended? We talked with the mother who was trespassed. Her daughter was not suspended, but I asked her, why did the school tell you your daughter was in trouble? This is what she said. So we have talked with a couple of the students who are out of class right now. There's a group of sophomore guys who are here, and they talked to us. I asked them, is it a school rule to have to give your ID and to give your name when they asked? They said no, but according to the mother, that is what the children were, quote, being defiant for, because they did not give up their names and ID when they were asked by school officials. So again, this all happened at the very end of the day. So to say that these kids were kicked out of school because of their Trump gear would be absolutely incorrect. This all happened after school when they were approached by a school resource officer who, for whatever reason, asked them to disperse and go home. This was after the bell. They made it through the day without any problems. It was only until they were approached and asked to leave leave and did not. And then when they were apparently asked for their IDs and their names, they did not do that either. And so we still need to find the official reason why the school says they were suspended. But from the mother herself, she says she told her daughter, don't speak to anybody until I get there. She didn't speak. The school said, you're being defiant. And that is the reason why we are here. So we are continuing to talk to people and get to the bottom of this. The mother also would like some answers as to why she got a trespass and none of the other parents did. So a lot of different punishments and still no real response from Chandler Schools. We will wait for that and bring it to you as soon as we get it. Live out here, I'm Cameron Riddle, Arizona's Family. Noon. We got to do it record at noon if you want to roll on that. Johnny, you want to record on a noon here? All right, I'd like you to use that same bite we just used there at the top of the hour. All right, here we go. 3, 2. Good afternoon, folks here in the East Valley. We're making their voices heard loud and clear as these protesters and rather supporters of the students who got in trouble on Friday after they wore Trump gear to school for the end of their school's Spirit Week. It should be noted that these kids were not suspended because they had Trump gear on during the day. This incident that has caused this national attention happened after the school day had ended. And so that begs the question, so why were the students suspended? We also want to note that only one student out of the group of students that wore this Trump gear to school on Friday was suspended. We talked with one of the mothers here who was outside protesting here this morning. She would like answers to know why only one student was suspended. I asked her, was it because they were wearing Trump gear or was it because they were being defiant like the school says? In her own words, here is what she says she was told why the kids were in trouble. And we asked a couple of the students who are out here, a group of sophomore boys were absent from class, if you will, to do other things, including their First Amendment rights out here to make their voices heard on this issue. I asked them, is it a rule for the school to, do you have to give up your ID and your name when they ask it? According to these students, they say no. So is that the absolute reason why the kids were, quote, being defiant? We are still waiting for that official confirmation to come from Chandler Schools. In Chandler, I'm Cameron Riddle, Arizona's Family.